existence.
What's up, everyone? This is the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. Your white rabbit taking you down that goddamn rabbit hole every fucking week. And today we got Mockingbird back. And we're going to get into a hot topic, especially for him. And this episode of the Roundtable Special Saturday edition is brought to you by that Monster Blue. The fictitious product that doesn't actually fucking exist because we are not sponsored by anybody. We are crowdfunded. You carry this product. What you like what you are watching. By all means, share the live feed, hit the like and subscribe buttons, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube, and by all means, follow us at Real TWRN on YouTube, X, and Rumble so that we can start streaming live from Rumble. And as always, check out our online store. The link to that is in the description of the bio, where you can get all kinds of great merch, TWRN, banner shirts, the Charlie Kirk Truth Speaks Louder Than Bullets Charlie Kirk dedication shirt, the No Strings merchandise, our counter protest to the No Kings movement. It's not no kings, it is no strings, no puppet politicians. So by all means, check out our online store. We've got tons of great merch there, great stocking stuffers for the holiday season, and great talking points. You walk out with one of those shorts, people are going to be like, what's the Worldwide Resistance? And they just that word any topic. No topic. If they open the door, they can't open the find it. They're the ones that initially come. Anyway, let's go ahead and move to Mockingbird, my friend. You suggested a very interesting topic, my friend. You wanted to get into the dynamics of men getting railroaded in the courts, especially in terms of divorce, child custody, and whatnot. We talked last week on the roundtable, me and Reva did, about how women say they want equality, but tend to be favored in society, especially in the legal system, and how responsibility always falls on the man. It's always the man's fault, and it has led to a system to where women can shirk the system and potentially railroad the man, especially fathers and husbands who may be facing divorce and child custody issues. And you really wanted to touch on this topic, but you've been talking about it for weeks. Like, I want to come on and do this topic. I want to come on and do this topic. So go ahead, Thomas, and take us into this. What prompted you to want to do this topic?
Well, first of all, the whole system is fucked.
Yeah, we can test that. How we do it.
I'm a hardworking man. I've been there for all my kids. There's a lot of deadbeat fathers out there, and they don't give two shits about their kids. But I'm not one of them, and I've been there for them. I love my children, but the society will always look down on the man. Like, the man is garbage. So it's like, I have all my kids, brothers and sisters. I'm the one with the job. I'm the one with the place, but yet they still favor the woman, and they took my kid away from me. So now I have to fight to spend time with my son. I don't think that's fair. But, you know, we live in a unfair society. It's like, if we don't, we're the ones that make the money. So I think how they look at it is that, well, how is the government going to make their money?
Yeah.
If I don't pay child support.
Yeah, the courts.
So they don't give a crap what's best for the child. They only care about what's in their pocket. So I'm living proof of that. I've proven I'm not naming no names, but unfit over and over. I fought. I went to court at least 13, 14 times. I fought. And the only thing I've ever wanted, man, and is I want him in my life. And even the judge, last time I saw a judge, said that it's up to him. And she's got him so brainwashed against me because I favor him more than my other children when he's here. You know what I mean? So I think one day what's going to happen is that boy is going to resent her for doing that. And he's going to realize what she's doing. And I'm just waiting patiently for him to make that decision.
How old is that child in question?
I got to turn this mic up. I could barely hear you guys.
Okay, can you hear me now? How old is your child, the child in question?
Don't answer that. I don't want it to be able to be watered down and individual. He has more than one children, but I'm sure they're not all the same age kind of thing. If we do that, then we're going to single out the mom. And right, I don't know. I don't care. I'll go to war on your behalf, Thomas. I don't give a fuck. Just protecting your privacy and integrity.
No, I was just wondering, like, is he getting fairly close to 18? Is what I was wondering.
Good question. Better way to ask it.
Well, another thing is that I think men in general don't get the appreciation that we deserve from women at all. Like, yeah. They always complain that we make more money than women, but yet we do the most hardest jobs than they do. Electricians, oil rigs, underwater crap. You know what I mean? Like we're the ones up there doing electrical stuff, walking on wires, building buildings. Like 90% of the buildings in America are made by men, and we get shit on.
Yeah,
daily.
Yeah, the courts generally favor the woman because she generally makes less. So the man who is the quote unquote winner, they're the ones that they are going to financially exploit the most because the courts are designed to act as a mediator between the state and pretty much all legal proceedings are transactions. You and the state. And it's up to the court to decide what most benefits the state financially. It's not about justice. It's not about equality. It's not about what's best for the child or this or that. It's about what's most financially beneficial to the state. And if you are the breadwinner, and men are looked at as the breadwinner 9 times out of 10, because as you pointed out, we are the ones who generally do the hardest work. And the mothers are the caregivers, the nurturers, generally by default. So the courts are going to look to the man and go, okay, how much money can I milk this guy for on behalf of the courts and the state? That's what they want to know. It's not about what's in the best interest of the child, because statistically, we know that children that grow up either living with the father or having the father around in an active role, as if he were never gone, even if the family is broken up, those children who have their father around are less likely to turn to crime, are less insecure, seek out more healthy relationships, and tend to be more successful in school and in the work sector. So statistically, it is better for the child, whether male or female, to be in the custody of the father or to have the father around in a dominant role.
Fathers have more order. Yes. They're physical. Yes. They're wise. They want. See, when the mothers are, to me, you need both. You need love, and you also need order. And I think it's best if we have to pick one, the child should go to the father, because that way they'll be ready for the world when they grow up. We're more in order. This is what you need to do. This is what we're going to do. Women are more like, oh, let me hug you. Everything's going to be okay. Everything, you know what I mean? But like, You need both. You know what I mean? Physically, but like,
It's not okay. How do we deliver that information to the child? Mom's not good at delivering that. Oh, you ever notice? Mom never delivers bad news. Will you go talk to your child? I don't know how to tell him he's not going to make the football team. That's a guy thing. Go. Dad is the one that does the letting
right.
down and letting down softly. It's like from the micro to the macro, the big decisions to the simple conversations on the bedside before bedtime. Like, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt there.
You know, I was talking about my wife earlier. I was like, what if, and we're talking about majority. I'm not talking about individually. We're talking majority of men. What if we decided that women don't have rights? What are they going to do about it?
Laws would change overnight.
Yeah, and there's really nothing a female can do about it. I mean, you have the concern of the Muslim Brotherhood takeover here in the United States, and Canada's facing a lot of that as well.
Oh, let them come. Let them come. I love them. Bring
Yeah,
the Muslim.
at which point you would have Sharia law, at which point women are subservient to men in every regard. You know, they have to wear Islamic garb, all of that. They do not have a tenth of the rights that they have that and enjoy here in the United States. It would literally be a man's world. And, you know, post 19th, what was it, the 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
all that would be gone.
Their husband didn't agree. Okay, I would need somebody to fact check this. Okay, I'm going to spew some bullshit, and I would need someone to fact check it to be sure. But every year, when you look at national population, right, you can see the divide a lot. Sometimes there's more men in the country. Sometimes there's more women in the country. Just depending on the year that you're observing, the sense, you know what I mean? People come and go, they live and die, type of thing.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, when the women got their right to vote and all good nonsense like the women's rights activism and all that stuff, if I'm not mistaken, it was taking place at a time in human history where women really were the numerical minority, which means in order for these things to pass, they would have needed those big, bad, ugly men to help them carry them past the finish line, because they would have needed the votes. Just like any other president chases the opposition to be like, yo, I just need you to vote with me this one time so I can get this thing done. Please, can you help me out? Right? If it wouldn't have been for the husbands that agreed with the logical and intelligent women, because they weren't all illogical, they weren't all absolutely foolish, but there was a grouping of smart ladies in the mix. And if it wouldn't have been for their husbands backing them, those laws would have never changed. Again,
Here's the thing. We hear complaining all the time from women that we need more rights. We kind of gave them the right to vote since I think it was June 4th, 1919. Is women did. It's in the Constitution now that women can have the right to vote, but yet they can't get drafted. So here's the thing: I don't believe that a woman should be president, not because she's a woman, because I don't think it's right that a woman can't be drafted or be a part of society where men do. And so I think they always say it's not fair, but I don't think it's fair that it's okay for a man to get drafted and go fight a war to protect you, and you still have the right to vote. So you don't hear us men all the time standing up going, that's not fair. That's not fair.
No.
I mean, come on. Like
they got all the freedoms, but none of the accountability. They've got a lot of the perks, if not all of the perks, and hardly any of the caveats. And that's kind of what's led to this.
If anything, I think women should really thank men for protecting them and guiding them and giving them the things they have today. And I think it's only fair. I mean, I'm not a sexist person. I'm not. But if a woman ain't working, I think she should be working at the house.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. If I'm out there busting my ass off paying bills, she should be in the house raising a family. It should be God, man, wife, and children. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Everybody has a unique role to play.
And the whole society, I bet you women ain't really complaining about it.
And they don't want to have kids or whatever, that's up to the individual. But if you have a family, I would definitely say it'd be better to have the mother in the house attending the kids and course correcting the kids with the father, rather than having the state raise your kids. For damn sure, you definitely don't want the state raising your kids, and that's where our big problem has come in. They wanted women working. They wanted women voting because one, hey, if both men and women are voting, we can easily influence one over the other because women tend to make decisions based on how they feel in that moment. They are loyal to their emotions in how they feel in that moment. Hence why things like Prop 50 in California passed, because you have so many women in California who are dependent on county aid, and they were under the assumption, oh, well, you'll get your food stamps turned back on if the Democrats get back in power. Okay, so they're going to vote Democrat because that they're not thinking long term. It's like, okay, this is a blackmail thing. They're thinking, they're caught up in their emotions. I need to feed me and my family. Okay, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it long term versus short term.
Maybe.
Yeah, long term versus short term thinking, and that tends to be exploited. And I'm not saying that's the fault of women. That's the fault of evil people exploiting and understanding psychology and how the woman works and exploiting that to their advantage, which is very fucked up and evil. And another reason they wanted all these things for women, they wanted women working. So they're thinking, oh, well, we got one tax per household because the father's working. Let's get the mother working. Now we get 2 sets of taxes. We get double the income coming in tax revenue. And now the kids go to school and are now subject to the state because mom and pop are out of the house. We get to teach and groom the children and condition them for what we want. Welcome to woke culture, and so on and so forth. And now you get the father out of the house, and you get the woman dependent on the state. And here come the problems of the 20th and 21st century.
Oh, dude, those problems existed a long time ago. I was trying to find the right time to segue into with this little tidbit, but the men are protecting the women. Like the American men are protecting the American women in a way. And many men say this shit, okay? Like, oh, they just don't understand what we're doing for them. Okay. But they really don't, because anybody want to take a wild stab at which nation was the first nation ever to give women like their women's rights and all that stuff? And I know we all want to be like proud Canadians and proud Americans, but it wasn't us. Who was it?
Britain.
No, actually, you know what? Back in the, it's only been like 50 or 60 years since women started standing up for their rights. But before then, not one woman complained about that stuff.
Okay, but
they actually respect the husband. They took care of the children when he got home. I mean, it was all about a matter of respect and trust and loyalty.
Yeah,
so,
and they were happy to do it. They wanted it,
and they were happy. Yeah,
and they were happy. And now you got women who are, these boss babes and career women and all this, and you see them, they're so fucking miserable.
Research Adolf Hitler's view on animal and human rights, and you're going to realize real quick that everything that we say that we did, he did first.
I really love all my children. I have meaning in my life. I love supporting them.
What happened?
I have pride in doing what I do.
I don't know. Are you covering your mic, Thomas?
And makes you feel like you're nothing and that they're better than you. And if you have 2 head of the household people in a household, it's not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work.
No.
It can't.
Financially, it's almost impossible to do. You
told me before, you work
2 jobs?
Look at daycare. Like, a woman needs to stay home and take her kids. It's cheaper. Daycare is so expensive. Like, if we both work and we have to go get daycare, that's even more money that we have to pay for, I'm a full believer that a woman should stay home, take care of the family, and the man should go out and work. That's just it. And if you do it that way and put all your pride and bullshit aside, then the world will be a better place. I guarantee it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Like, there is one way that it could work. There's one way, okay? Like, let's set up an Amish community, and the men, they'll go and they'll be building entire communities, and the women, they'll stay home and they'll do all the men's work. Like, so we're not going to say that the women can't do it. So, like, if you want to go plow the field and you want to go do what, like, men wake up at 4 a.m. to do to run on a farm and so on and so, girlie, I ain't going to stop you. I ain't going to pretend like you can't do it. No, in that way, yeah, society could work where the men would go and they would be community builders and we would respect our women in a way that, like, yeah, I believe that you can do man work. If you hit a spot where you
Yeah,
can't,
I understand all that. I'm 100% agree with you. That'd be
yeah,
something you had to sit down and talk to your partner with. Like, if I work mornings, you need to work nights. But say if she loses her job. See, here's how I look at it. I have to work. She don't have to work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a choice. Like, she can go get a job and get her money and stuff like that and come home and help. I have no problem with that. We can compromise that. But I can't say that, well, you work and I stay home and be a stay-at-home dad. You know what I mean? Like, it's not very common, you know. But, like, if she wanted to work, that's fine. I mean, I'll respect that. But I have to. I don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I have to make sure it gets done, regardless whether she has a job or not. But yeah, absolutely. Do I think women can't do the job? No. Do I think that women can't work on oil lines? No. I mean, I think that women can do anything a man can do. You just don't see them doing it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
generally women don't want to do it. They want the easier road. They want a man who will take care of them. And in most cases, most of them won't admit it, but most women want somebody who can take care of them. They want
Yeah, I'm not talking about
if they
all
want to work, they
women. I'm
want the
talking
easier
majority.
jobs. They don't want to be the trash truck driver. They would rather be the nurse over the trash truck driver, or the tower climber, or the construction worker, because it's easier work.
mhm.
Yeah, and it goes back to the idea of work smart, not hard. Women aren't stupid.
Men,
They understand work smart, not hard.
right? Like, I think we all do that. Like, I want my daughter to be able to be in a man's role, but like, I prefer you be in the office pushing the paper because you're just that damn good at it, kind of thing, right? So, but flip side of the same coin, like, you should be able to, like, take out the trash in the building that you own, right? Like, you should be the owner of the multi-billion-dollar plex, and you could be female, and you should walk out that main entrance and see that garbage can's full, and you grab that, run it to the dumpster yourself. That's leading by example nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like, I'm all about empowering women, but I won't do that with a blind eye to how the power that we're providing for them is being misused against us.
Yeah, absolutely. And to anybody who might be tuning in, comments are open. The best part about the roundtable is that you are a part of the conversation. It's not just the people you see on screen. You are as much a part of this conversation as anybody else here on camera. So
That's
if
right.
you have a thought
Well,
or an
it's
opinion
the women, they
on this
gave birth
topic,
to the nation. You know what I mean? I have a
if you have
highly
an opinion,
respect, especially for
share
my
it.
mother. I have a highly respect for any female, because they gave birth to this country. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like, we're supposed to protect them.
How
It's
can we-
very
Yeah,
important.
absolutely. Revan had a thought, and he's been holding for a minute. So we're going to give it to Revan for a minute.
I want to quote Kitty Hopkins. Women don't want equal treatment; they want special treatment.
I'll agree. You look at we were talking about the other day, that porn star Lana Rhoades. Apparently, she's getting others to follow suit with her and trying to get all their content pulled off the internet because they no longer align with it. They don't want their kids to see it. Well, again, this is something that should have been thought about long term. It's like, oh well, what if I have kids? Decide to have kids down the line? What happens when I no longer want to do this or no longer can do this? Where am I going to be at in 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line in terms of this career choice? Now, again, I read into it. She was 19 years old working at Tilted Kilt in California, got recruited into the business, and she decided at 19, I'm an adult, I'm capable of making my own decisions despite anybody else's reservations who might have been close to her. She decided, hey, I'm an adult, I'm going to make my own decisions, this is what I want to do, but now has decided that she was manipulated into working in the industry and doesn't want her son and her kids to see it because of the decisions she made, not taking into account that she signed contracts with these varying production companies for production and distribution of her image and content. She does not exclusively own that content. It's property of the companies she contracted with. who in turn contract with distributors like, say, Pornhub or whatever to distribute that content. She does not have executive say any more than an actor has say over a movie that they star in that might have flopped and caused their career to tank. Take Christopher Walken. Back in the day, he did a really stupid fucking movie called Communion. It was about aliens, and it was really fucking stupid. He looked like a complete total ass. You don't see Christopher Walken saying, I want Communion taken out of circulation and completely erased from existence because it didn't bolster my career and makes me look like an ass. You don't see actors like Christopher Walken's going, I don't want this in circulation anymore. I want this erased from existence because it makes me look bad. No, he made a choice to do this movie, as many celebrities do, and it didn't work out well and has negative connotations to it in many regards, as many films do. Many films flop, but people take responsibility for that. But then you have these little porn stars wanting special treatment going, oh, well, I made a bad decision because I was manipulated. You weren't saying you were manipulated when you were 19 years old and saying, is my body my choice? Like, come on. You can't have your cake and eat it too, like Revan said. You don't want equal treatment. You want special treatment. You want the perk. So many people, and there are men who do this too, they want the perks, but none of the caveats. And that's bullshit. It doesn't work that way. If you want equality, you got to take the good with the bad.
They don't want equality. Go outside, open the door, look around. Not gonna take you a whole lot of time. You're gonna find one, okay? Yeah. Walk up, smack that bitch. What's gonna happen? There will not be equality demonstrated in any moment for any second, and yeah. Yeah, no, it's not equality. I could walk right up to Thomas and punch him square in the mouth, and he could look at everybody around him and be like, every now and again, a man's got to get a punch in the mouth, maybe every 10 years. Makes you rethink things. Thank you, sir. Hey, would you like to have a beer? Yeah. So what was it that you were saying? No. That altercation will not be viewed in such a manner if a male individual does that to a female individual inside of the exact same social construct, meaning it could happen inside of a bar. It could happen, you know what I mean? It will be sociologically viewed, and then legal.
It's sociological bias based on gender.
Yeah. And it's like, and our whole lives as men, we were raised to live with it. That there was a lot of things in the world that were unfair, and that of all the things that were unfair, that this was one of the least unfair things to worry about. That a guy gets a harsher sentence because he hit a girl. Okay, we were like, we're not gonna die on this cross. We're gonna move on with, why presidents and this and that get assassinated, right? So we're raised, young men, to just know that particular unfairness really isn't the worst unfairness that exists in the world. And maybe that all by itself is the generational fallacy. Maybe we should have never been taught that. You know what I mean? Maybe that maybe we should have been taught actual equality and not this gender bias equality that was sold to us as young men, which is the whole.
It's not equality. It's equality so long as it's convenient. At which point, if it's not convenient, we're gonna bust out that I'm the weak little girl card. Happens in social constructs, such as domestic violence. Which I will say this flat out: if it gets to the point where you're in a relationship and you have to, and your partner is not acting right to the point where you think that hitting this person is going to fix the problem, you just need to leave that person. If they don't know how to be a wife, then you just need to leave that person and go find somebody better, because you're better than that. And if you're not better than that and you're a piece of shit who has to resort to violence, you don't need to be in a relationship, and you just need to be away from women in general. No man should ever raise his hand to a woman. If she can't be her, if she can't be a wife, leave her. If you can't be a fucking husband and a provider and a protector, even against yourself, then you need to be away from women.
I think it's so
I will
funny
say
when
that loud
women
and proud.
they disrespect you and they expect you just to take it. And it's like, no, we'll just move on to the next one that does have respect. You know what I mean? So
Keanu Reeves actually had a good quote about that. About those 7 billion people in the world, and when one person is mean to you, you just really have to thank them for showing you who they were, so that you can move on to the 6 billion, 900 million, 900,000, right? Like, and so on and so forth, that might find an interest in you. So and I was like, whoa, he's not even saying that the person's wrong. He's not like, this person doesn't like me. I know this. Moving on to this person. Let's find out if they dislike me as well. Right? It's a very interesting way to look at life, I guess. Sorry.
it's like so funny that women say it all the time. Like when you're dating somebody and you start a conversation saying, well, how much do you make? It's like, okay, so you find out my paycheck or you want to find out about me? And it don't exist anymore. If it does, it's very, very, very rare.
It is. And women, inherently, they look for a man who is a provider and a protector. That's why the man needs to be the star of the show. He needs to be the breadwinner. He needs to be the provider. He needs to be able to prove that he can step up and be the man who's going to be able to provide and protect a family. Now, do women exploit that? It's like, oh, you need to buy me a $200 dinner on the first date. You know, that kind of shit is stupid. Being fixated on how much do you make is stupid. You should definitely want to know, like, hey, am I compatible with this person? Is this person mentally stable? You know, is not going to thump my skull for me the second I do something that he might disagree with. You know, there's a lot of variables that need to be taken in consideration in conjunction with, you know, his financial stability. But financial stability, you know, one variable should not take precedence and dominance over every other variable in the relationship pursuit dynamic.
I got
There's no saying.
What,
There's no saying. Now, there's no saying that goes, you don't become the last in the room by being loud. You be quiet. Yeah. It's always the one that's quiet is the least, but yet will be known for his silence, because silence is like, holy shit, you know.
Absolutely. Thomas, you got a thought?
It's just this whole thing, man. I don't understand. I wish we had a fair society. I mean, for instance, like I was born on this planet. I have so many things that I could add. I think it's funny in history that we fought against taxes. Now we pay taxes. But anyways,
well, I mean, there was a lot more variables to
well, you got World War II. Yeah, World War II made us pay taxes to help with the weaponry and all that stuff, but then they didn't stop it.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to women. I just feel like women are just as important as men, but like there should be a gratitude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there should be like, you know, why are you hating men when all they're doing is trying to protect you and love you and support you? I don't get it.
Women want a man who, you know, like you said, you know, they fixate, you know, how much money do you make? Can you be a good provider and protector? But if you try to be a good provider and protector and you try to take charge in a relationship,
and they find someone else with more money,
yeah,
then you're nothing. They'll find a reason. They'll fight with you. They'll do everything to make you look like the victim. Yeah. And then when you become the victim, then they found justice of why they're leaving, but they're really just leaving for more money. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot of variables as to why a woman would leave a relationship. Like I said, they're loyal to how they feel in the moment. I'm not saying
men are not bad. I mean, there's bad men out there.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've met more than our fair share.
Like if you ask a question,
say names.
I've heard.
At
But
some point
it's,
in our own lives, we all were the bad guy. We've all been at least left once, and it was totally our fault.
oh yeah,
We've all we're definitely going to be, no matter what, at some point in human history, we are all going to be the villain in somebody's story.
it doesn't really
I'll
matter.
be the first
Man,
to admit that I was.
Chris has been. I've known Chris for many, many years, and that man's been through a lot of drama, man. And
Yeah, and a lot of it was my own fault too.
Oh,
so that majority,
Like
maybe
what
not the
happened between
majority.
me and
I mean, we
Genevieve,
all
that
make
was my fault.
mistakes. That's what we're supposed to make mistakes. We're supposed to learn from our mistakes, become better.
Yep.
So
your stage was drama that you chose. Could you imagine coming to Earth and your soul was destined for a horror scene? I'll take a drama any day, bro.
I say it all the time. We're
Right.
on this planet, yet everybody's fighting and shit. Like we should all just to get along. I mean, but we live in a dream. That's a dream.
Well, hypothetically speaking, if your dream could become a reality, what would be that dream? If
My
you
dream.
talk about
Can you
equality and fairness and whatnot,
take away money? We start trading again. We give everybody their own land. We have so much land that we're not even
Barter
using.
system.
We just
Ooh,
break it up for everybody.
I got a very short way to sum up a huge dream. All we're looking for is adequate male recognition, and that is a
That'd be
double
great.
sword because we're asking for the women to recognize the efforts that men put towards the society, and the other side of that sharp edge is, guys, we're asking all of you to recognize that we're trying now to physically address the women in a non-aggressive fashion. Be like, yo, so I hear you feel this. Maybe we should fix that. What would help you not feel like this? And what can I do? What is it that you would like to ask me to do that you know is full well within my control and capable of being done?
Right.
And then we go with that, right? So when those two things cut the same page, shit might have progress.
yeah, and it has to be, if you want a man to take the driver's seat, you got to get out of the driver's seat and move over to the passenger seat.
Right.
Two people cannot sit in the driver's seat at the same time. And I understand that a lot of women, if they don't want to give up the driver's seat, they don't regard the man as being capable of handling the driver's seat. At which point, that relationship needs to end right then and there.
Well, think about this: let's just say hypothetically that any man, if you get married, you stay married, and if you keep the fathers, because there's a majority of people in America, they don't have fathers, so this country's going down the hill because there's no order at all.
Yeah,
So
and it was designed that way.
Huh?
It was designed that way. They want the fathers out of the house,
right?
So that the mothers have to go to work, and the kids.
What can we do to make more money? Okay, let's make all the men leave their wives and pay child support.
Yeah,
instead of leaving them in the household.
A man you can't even survive on your own.
No. $408.
Yeah, with two people, it
for
takes
one kid.
2 or more people to hold up and sustain a household nowadays. You want to send the man out on his own and expect him to not only survive but to be able to pay child support?
With my child support,
it's almost impossible.
You guys went to a trip. Better fuck what you all see there.
No, you're actually frozen, Connor.
Oh, I'm frozen. I imagine my phone just went up, down, sideways, hit the counter. It was rather impressive stuff.
Yeah, you've been looking behind you for like the past 10 minutes.
Nice. Did I find anything yet?
I don't know, but you're looking at something very intently.
The fucking spot on that floor, bud. I'm telling you, if I could just figure out how to get it out, bring me the brush and the pine saw. I'm gonna scrub it.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're smoking, must be some really good shit. You get your phone stuck.
I didn't even see one car.
Skynet don't know what to do no more. He's like, I'm just gonna make him look at the floor for a bit.
Right. So who would you say is who is at fault for creating this system, for getting fathers out of the home, for making it so that men are railroaded in the system and that women are not held to the same accountability standards as men, and so on and so forth?
The government.
Who would you say is at fault for that?
I need to go.
Hold on. Hold on, I got an idea here. Who's at fault for it? Man, I think that's a situation where both sides got into a bad fight and neither side was fighting anything in regards to what the outcome became. And the outcome that became is purely just the leftover mess of the fight. So it's like I could hate blue and you could hate red, right? And when it's all said and done, for no apparent reason, everything's fucking green now. So no
Right.
one was aiming towards green, and because there was a fight and it should have been purple, so everybody was assuming the purple outcome, but green is what we got stuck with. It's the mess, the whatever the fuck they were fighting about. I don't get it. I don't know it. I think if I was to put my finger on it, you remember your grandfather back in the day? I am not leaving this mess for the next generation to pick up.
Yeah.
What if this is the mess?
You're
Like,
right.
what if
It is.
this shit like I remember my grandfather like man, like I was a young man, I was young dude, I think I was like 5-6 years old, and I was at the Christmas table, right? And like my family was conspiratorial by nature. Like we already knew the man was out to get us because the man already came out and got us. Okay, and I'll explain why. If you guys, is it physically possible for somebody to Google without leaving the chat? Like, can someone tippity tap while I'm talking?
Revan, you're the one with a million devices.
Actually, I got ADD, so.
My grandfather was he was in World War II, and he grew up hard. So if we ate at a table and I reached across the table, he'll smack my hand saying, "Hey," you know. He was all a man of order, but he was so good to my grandmother. Oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
good to her.
It's really sad that you have to work 4 times as hard as your grandfather to get a woman who isn't even a quarter of what your
yeah, my
grandmother
grandfather had a house. He had cars. He lived a great life,
Yeah, and now in California,
and
you
now
know,
we're suffering.
yeah. What did we pay for that house when we lived in San Diego? What was it? We were paying like what, $1,200 a month or something like that.
Yep. No, it was 16.
$1,600 for a 3-bedroom house, big yard. Now, it wasn't the most immaculate house, but we had a big yard, plenty of room to move around. Everybody had their own space. $1,600 a month for rent. Now, rent for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about what I make in a month. No, back then it was lower. It was like for a 3-4 bedroom house, you're looking at 700.
No, what did we pay in rent for the house in San Jacinto when we all lived there when we were doing the tunnel?
Oh yeah, it was 1,200.
It was $1,200. Okay, so we were paying $1,200 for a 3-bedroom house back in 2009, 2010. 2025, the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in California is $2,500.
$100. God damn.
No, $2,500. $2,500.
Yeah, 2,500.
Okay, Carl just sent me something interesting.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
see that long fancy fucking word there? You see that?
Yeah.
It's pronounced Park Kushibugwak. Okay, it's a really fucked up long name. It's a Native American term. Okay, so give me 2 seconds. What I want you to do in the meantime, just Google the dark side of that story, because I'm going to tell you the story, and you're going to have to like fact check it. Okay, so I just got to grab the milk for my coffee.
All right, let's have a look here.
Can you do that?
Dark story of
Oh, sorry.
Got it.
Okay. There would be a big fancy word. It would be called expropriation.
Okay, hold on. I'm actually going to go share screen. I think here. Would I go share screen? I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Share screen. Let's go to monitors.
I promise you, this is worth it. I got to run the pup out. She's going to pee on my floor.
Okay. I'm sharing it.
I'm just bringing my puppy outside, and I'll be right back to tell you an interesting story before we leave for the day.
All right. Let's get on it. And in the meantime, I would say in terms of what actually caused this would be the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. They created the educational system. Revan, was it Rothschild or Rockefeller that created the educational system? It was Rockefeller, right?
Yeah, it was Rockefeller.
Yeah, it was Rockefeller who created the educational system and said that he wanted a society of workers, not critical thinkers. He didn't want businessmen. He didn't want entrepreneurs or any of that. He wanted people who were, as George Carlin would say, just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to simply accept all the bullshit. And then they help create this society of, you got the feminist movement and equality, and then you got the integrating of taking men out of the family and making men look like idiots, starting with TV shows like The Simpsons and characters like Homer Simpson and then Peter Griffin from Family Guy and so on and so forth, making the father of the household seem mentally and overall incompetent. And that's where you really see a lot of the division. It's all incremental and it was all planned. People think it's all just these separate issues and it's, this is a funny little show. No, it was planned this way. They wanted the kids in public school. They wanted the mothers working and voting a particular way so that they could be manipulated, so that they could help manipulate the voting process. They wanted double down on the taxes for the income. They wanted to create a system of dependency on the system by getting the fathers and the husbands out of the house and away from the family and in a position of destitute, just barely able to survive because they're paying child support out their ass. It was all planned this way. And why? Because it was all part of the Rockefeller and Soros and Rothschild plan. Connor, you were saying before that the country of Germany under Adolf Hitler had a lot of female equality. What was happening in Germany prior to Adolf Hitler in terms of female equality?
They didn't have female rights. That wasn't a thing. That was like one of the things that the Nazi Party actually like pushed forward as a policy that would be would be like they would start recognizing the rights of females and female workers. And at no point am I saying that the Nazis are good here. What I'm saying is that we're seeing a lot of the old Nazi playbook being regenerated in the United States, up to and even including the extremists of all angles. And like we could dissect that, like if that's something that like Tommy Bird wants to jump in with me on one day, I'll definitely dissect it. But I promised the crowd a story here, and this here.
Right, well, I've got the feed here right now.
Okay, so you see like the first couple of sentences, what it says. Are you guys able to read it? Because
forced relocation, high modernist planning, resistance and protest, Jackie Voltor, ongoing legal and social issues.
Those are right there. That's almost everything that you need to at least get started. Because you see the name Jackie Voltor. You can find that name on YouTube, and there's a documentary about him, his family, and this particular situation. Now, what this is that in the 1960s, the Canadian government saw a plot of land, and there was families that lived on that land, right? And the government was like, we want that land. And the families were like, but it's my land. And they're like, no, you don't understand. We want that land. So I was never really allowed to speak on it, and I don't really speak on it in great detail. But I'm about to start speaking on it, which may very well
And if
generate,
Connor disappears, we know he's in jail.
right? That may very well generate some interesting points of interest, because you see where it says like 12,000 individuals, or like families there, like there's a number there, right? My grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, and my aunts and uncles, and all, they're one of those numbers. So that story is still currently being fought in the Canadian Supreme Court. This is a not resolved issue, and that is my family against the federal government, because the federal government stole our land. And when I'm talking about like Native Americans, I'm not talking. No. My people were Acadian people. We're no different than the people from Louisiana. The Cajuns, we have the same descendants from the Great Deportation of 1755, right? But we come from Europe. We landed on the east coast of Canada, and we became known as the Acadian people, you see. And then what happened is that we had families, and we had land, and we had this, and the federal government, well, we were peasants. We were illiterate. We were ill-informed. Those people we try not to make fun of just because they didn't really go to school or whatever. When we look back at like Little House on the Prairie days, okay, that's what my family was like that. So the government's like, we're going to go in and we're just going to big paycheck, and they're going to take these big paychecks and give them the land. Well, my grandfather and a few of his friends, they refused. They're like, no, the amount of money, because they were smart enough to understand that the amount of money that was being offered was inappropriate. Because the land that we owned, it was one of those properties there where there's a beautiful body of water, right? Fresh water too. You can drink the shit. You can fish the trout out of it. It's good stuff. And my grandfather owned land on both sides. And that's like a dream situation when there's a large lake style body of water that's fresh, potable, really good water, and you're one of the individuals that own land on both sides of it, right? That's a huge thing for some people. Anyway, the government wanted stuff like that, and the selling people was going to make a national park out of it, and they stole it, and they took it from my family. So when it's like governments favoring, and like in today's context, it's women favoring against men in the courts and how the courts are corrupt. And I just never want the viewership to think that like you have to work real hard to sell to me that the courtroom's corrupt. I already know, dude. Like we're at the Supreme Court. It's taking forever. It happened before my time.
Really, man, that really sucks. I'm really sorry to hear about your family, man. That really sucks.
I didn't even know, though. I only found out 10 years ago.
Yeah, and see, this is a prime example of why you need a man in the household. Why men need to be strong and masculine. You know, women talk about toxic masculinity like it's exuberating this bad thing that it's bad for a man to be a man. And it's like, no, you want masculinity. Masculinity is not bad. It's not toxic. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. If a man beats the shit out of you, he's a piece of shit, regardless.
Right.
But that does not equate toxic masculinity, because toxic masculinity does not exist. Masculinity is inherent in all men, and it needs to be fed.
Masculinity, okay. It's kind of like saying, we know what it is. We got it. So, but that's not all we are. You know what I mean? So it's like, We have pride. Let's go back to the women thing. Like for instance, if I got a lot of respect from a woman, I'm gonna work twice as hard
Yeah.
because men have a lot of pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Men
So
equate love with respect.
with respect, if we get respect, we will work our asses off for that. Why
Yeah.
would
A
why
man
would
will
we want
move
to lose that?
mountains for the woman he loves. If he feels if he feels respected, he will move mountains for
There's
the woman he loves.
nothing a man wouldn't do for a woman for respect.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And that's what makes masculinity so wonderful, because if
See,
you
that's
have a truly
masculine in a
masculine
right
man
way.
and who
Yeah.
takes charge and protects his family, he will fucking he will launch a one-man war to protect his home and his family. You look at what happened with Connor. If you have enough strong masculine men and they band together and you have a strong community that is not divided, and that's the thing. You get the men out of the household, you emasculate men, you divide the communities, keep the communities divided against each other, then the government can just come in and say, oh, I want this house. Oh, I want this land for my national park. Oh, I want your food because I want it. You know, if you eliminate masculinity, society gets railroaded and
we just
women
don't
get
have that right now. What I
subjugated.
think we should do, the only possible thing that I could think of to change the future is our children. It's how we raise our children. So it's like I look at it as a pickle jar situation. Like if my daughter came up to me and handed me a pickle jar and said, "Open this," I'm gonna open it. Here you go, have a pickle. If my son came up to me and handed me a pickle jar, his dad opened it and said, "No, you better open that shit."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you better open that. You got this. Go, keep going. Put your arm in it. Let's go. You know what I mean? I want my son to respect women, and I want my daughters not to accept anything different. So it's like if we train our children, raise our children to do the right thing and teach them about political shit, it will change. But we have to do it together. Like there's,
Yeah.
and I don't see that happening. Like I'm only one person out of what 300 million people in America. So it's like, but one stand can make a difference. But I don't see that happening now. I think that it's what we do with our children. They're the future.
Yeah.
We got to guide it, and
they don't want us to guide it.
they don't. And the government's going to do everything they possibly. They take fathers away. They're going to charge more taxes. They're going to come up with some bullshit that we have to pay for. Things that we don't really need. You know. It's just I feel so scared for my children. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
you know women think women can't get scared. We just have a different way of showing it. Like a fear is what makes a country great. You know what I mean? I hate to say it like that, but like when you're in a fight, whoever says they're not afraid is a liar. But it's your fear when you face your fear, it makes you more alert, more faster, more creative. You know what I mean? So
fear can be a driving force. The need for survival.
So I always teach my kids if you get knocked down, get back up and fight back anyway. No matter. I change my kids not to start a fight, but you better try to finish it. You know what I mean? So
damn well finish it, right?
Fear is not the problem. It's our response to it. You're allowed to be afraid of something. What are you going to do now that you figured out that you're afraid of it?
Yeah.
It's like broken.
Fight or flight needs to be the dominant decision.
I've been paying child support. I've been abused. I've been hit by women, scratched. I've been hit with a baseball bat. I have been abused majority of my life, and I've been broken and broken and broken to the point I became unbreakable. Now you can't break me because I won't allow that to happen. It's enough is enough. And when you come to that point, same with fear. I'm afraid of this and this and this until I'm fearful. You can't. I will face you. So whatever happens to me or whatever, whatever's happens.
Yeah,
we need that in we need that society, you know. You realize that we have more than enough people to stand up to the government.
Oh yeah. In every scenario that the government has run, they've run several thousand simulations, I believe. And in every single scenario, the government lost. Will it be a civil war or a revolutionary war?
You guys have
If the government goes to war against the people, the government loses.
you guys have so many people in your country that a failed minority number of it. Like so like when I say that, I mean like 0.030% of you could like stand up and fuck up, like not accomplish the mission and still make a substantial dent. There's so many of you that if and then we can apply the rules of critical thinking and what's the other one there when fucking shit just takes off. Anyways, like 10%. Once you get 10% of critical fucking, there's another word to follow is critical that is escaping my brain. Once you get 10% of the focus group following that shit, it just goes. So you need 10% of the United States population to actively, peaceably, coherently activate a fucking revolutionary response. And a huge part of that is going to need a spiritual and religious response. Just stick with what already works. Just go with the Christian, Muslim, Jew idea. Like, fuck.
Oh, you said it! He said and that's the Jew button, Thomas.
Fuck it. Hey, Jew.
Channel that's got a Jew.
You said Jew! I think Tommy Bird found himself his new favorite toy.
You stay with the regular spiritual aspects of any one particular nation because don't try and reinvent the wheel with the God idea. Legal structure or legal structure is definitely required, perhaps revisited, reworked. The United States, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, a strong percentage of the Black's Law Dictionary. A lot of it works. Like just reopen the book, read that shit, make sure you still agree, and then move on with your life. And then it's going to boil down to finances after that.
It's so funny that we're so into our history where no one's looking at their future. It's like the African American people. I have nothing problem with them at all, but I'm not gonna say sorry for something I had no control over. You know what I mean? Like racism don't exist today. You know what I mean? They don't.
Well,
and
fat lesbian women want you to feel that way. Like the African American prefer like you not like. I'm Morgan Freeman on this one, bro. And tell me that I'm not. I'll fight you for it. Like, we'll go to court. But my ass, I'm a black Morgan Freeman right now. And it's like, I'm just going to stop calling you a black man. And you're just going to stop calling me a white
stop calling me a white guy. And how do we stop talking? How do we stop racism? Stop talking about it.
Talk about it. Right?
They ask the question, who's more evil, men or women? I say women because for years they had that evil demon blood. And so God had to drain it about once a month for 7 days and shit.
So here's the interesting thing, right? Though it's always a question of who's more evil or who's more good. It's like, how does one complement the other? Let's make that the international.
You can't have one without the other. It doesn't matter. It's I'm sorry. It goes in hand. I'm not sexist. I'm just saying. I believe men should go work. Women should stay at home with the children. And I don't find that sexist at all. I think that's fair if you think about it. You know what I mean? I mean, if you look at God, he kind of set it up that way. We're supposed to plow the field, and they're supposed to tend them in. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's not that we're better. It's just the way it is. We're built that way.
Yeah, women put gas in the tank, and the man who's the tank goes and freaking mows down the enemy. The man is the tank, the woman puts gas in the tank, and the tank goes and mows down the enemy.
Pretty much.
I want to say that I survived my wife running me over with her motorcycle.
I had my ex-wife put my hand in a garbage disposal and turned it on.
I still got the tire marks on my back, and it's still red.
I have scars on my neck from my wife, my
I'm
ex-wife.
leaving down not to speak about my ex-wife.
But here's the thing: do I hate her? No. Whatever's done is done. If I allow everything I've been through to confine me, then I'm not free. I'm stuck. I refuse. I'd rather forgive. See, the Lord says forgive and let go, but He never says forget. I will learn from this, and I will grow, and I will be free. I will not allow anybody to keep me down. It doesn't matter. I forgive you. It's done. Good luck. You know what I mean?
I have been reading in recent months that there are going to be reforms in the criminal justice system and the civil court system in terms, because you don't necessarily, in civil court and family court, you don't need to present evidence. It's based solely on
Hearsay.
probability and hearsay. From what I am hearing, they're looking to amend that.
I think it's cool because they're passing a law to where all the men who are paying child support gets to claim the child for taxes. I think that's pretty cool.
Well.
Oh, hey, Tommy Bird.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know I'm Canadian, right?
Yes, I can tell.
Cool. Perfect. So check this out. I have this really weird thing. Now, whether it be you, Tin Man, or anybody who's got the feelers on, like, quote unquote, the right politician, you know what I mean? To speak to try and make this become like an American issue that you guys could like bring to the polls and vote on. I think you guys would want this one. I don't know how many episodes of the roundtable that you may have consumed at your own leisure, but have you ever heard me make the argument of reallocating American tax dollars? When I say that, do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. I haven't heard you say that.
So check this out. Okay, so I'm not going to teach you anything. I'm just going to say things out loud, and you're going to decide whether or not I understand the material to a reasonable degree. So the United States of America has been collecting tax dollars from its citizens in order to pay war reparations for World War I, World War II, and any other, we'll call it war debts, and anything that the American government is paying outwardly in the defense budget system. It just goes to like paying that shit, right?
Right.
Okay. And you guys, like, you pay a percentage of your income to it. Like some of you guys, it might be like, if you're lucky, it's like as low as 7%, right?
Right.
In Canada, I get taxed. We pay taxes, right? We pay 15% taxes.
Damn.
But when I go to the hospital, or when my wife goes to the hospital, don't got to worry about the like $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 labor bill.
That's what we do.
Right? Because my taxes pay that.
Right. No. See, yeah, the government is a piece of shit for that.
Yeah, well, they say that, all these taxes are for the roads and all these other shit. It doesn't actually go for any of that. So you definitely need to reallocate that money to where it needs to go, or you need to stop charging the people tax.
You're not telling the government that you're not telling the government that you don't want to pay taxes, because that argument will never be heard, right? I don't want to pay taxes, so end of conversation, right? So Mr. Government, yeah, I'd like to up my taxes to 15%. Well, wait a minute, let this man let him cook. I want to hear what he's got to say. But on the conditions of a reallocation of American tax dollar, and
I'm willing to pay this much money, but I want it to go here, here, and here.
I want your schools paid for. I want your roads paid for. I want your hospitals paid for. I want the judiciary system as a whole paid for. So like no private prisons. You're going to fucking jail. You're going to the state jail or the federal jail, and it's underneath that governmental jurisdiction. The employees there are paid. They're government employees. They're not private. Anyway, so on and so forth. All of the system, and you guys don't have to include imprisonment and judiciary. You guys are the United States of America. This system doesn't exist in your country. So you guys are allowed to cherry pick, as one would say. That you can be like, okay, I really like the roads idea, the school idea, the hospital idea. We'd have to monitor the school though, because we want to be careful when the state educates the children. But like, so on and so forth. But we're taking the Americans' money. We're already taking their taxes. Let's demand that the money be focused in a different direction and no longer towards the war debt. In essence, I want the Americans to stop prioritizing their bullets and their bombs over their people. That's all. And I've been trying to find the most peaceful way to present the argument so that Americans can bring it to sound-minded, reasonable politicians, so that dude, I'm a fucking Canadian stoner. The idea obviously needs some reworking, okay?
Weird thing. I think America's actually been talking about this for many years. It's just the government don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful not to cross the lines into socialism or communism. If you are a constitutional republic based on what is the term? What is the economic term? I just had it. Fuck.
Capitalism.
Capitalism. Yes, you're a capitalist constitutional republic. You got to be very careful where you tread. But I think you can, if you are going to be collecting taxes, you can reallocate those taxes to say, okay, I'm the taxpayer. I'm the one investing in this shit. This is what I want my money to go to. Just like if you're paying tithing in the Mormon church, you go, okay, well, I want that money allocated to this, this, or this. I want my money allocated to missionary efforts. I'm willing to pay this much more on top of what I was initially paying, but I want that money to go towards this thing.
Well, see, that's a capitalist socialist democracy, and that's what Canada is. We use the same, and this is why Canada and the United States are allies. It's because we utilize the same economic engine to drive our finances. So we both use capitalism. We both sell things, take the profits, and you're allowed to make as much money as you want, right? And in Canada, it's but while you're doing it, you're going to take care of the country as well. When you become the individual that makes a certain caliber of dollars, you're no longer just a citizen or a resident. You are a nation builder, right? So if you're like the CEO of Walmart, dude, you don't just live in the United States. You kind of are the United States.
But here's the thing: I don't represent my country or my government. I represent my country. So it's my thing is
love your country, hate your government.
Protect wherever my family's at. It don't matter. So if my family resides in America, I'm gonna protect America. So it's if my family was in Canada, I'd be Canadian. Straight up.
And your loyalty would be to protect.
But I've never ever once respected my government, ever in my life. I love my country. I love my people. You know what I mean? It's the government.
The
government don't care.
What's going to happen is Trump's going to push a few economic war engines a little too far with Mexico and so on and so forth. We know that
thing. Trump is it's not just Mexico. I mean, they're getting rid of all immigrants. My thing is they're also buying plane tickets. They're giving them food, and they still have the buildings open to where if you want to become an American citizen, you can do it the right way. That's all he's asking. You gotta realize is that if I went to France and I want to be a Frenchman, I have to take a test. I have to declare to whatever higher power they have there, and then I have to become a citizen of France.
Yeah.
We don't do that here. We are now, but it's I don't think it's racist or anything that people are getting mad and stuff like that. But
we have a process and it needs to be followed.
You got to go through the process to be an American citizen. That's all we're asking. So it's
there should be an aptitude test. I didn't say that you needed to get 100 on it. I just said the test should exist, and we'll decide the passing grade later.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables. But going back to what Thomas had said earlier, about how to raise our children, it kind of goes back to what Tom McDonald was saying in one of his songs. You talk about leaving a better planet for our kids. How about leaving better kids for our planet? And at which point it goes back to the system in which we were talking about, the educational system, the prison system, the cultural and societal influences that are integrated into the system, woke culture and gangster rap ideology to shape the minds of the youthful individual. The family needs to take control of that. Fathers and mothers need to come back together to take control of that. And I think if the courts get reformed like what we have been alluding to, because the red pill movement, like what we have been talking about today and the last roundtable, has really been pushing for restructuring of the court system and the unbiased favoritism of the monetary system and how the courts have been used. Because the courts are a transactional middleman between the plaintiff and the state. Now, if we allude to what Connor suggested in reallocating funds to not just hospitals, but to but for federalizing not only prisons, but the courts, you take the money out of the judicial process, at which point the focus then can become solely law and equality and fairness, because money is no longer the driving factor.
Look at China.
Judges,
China, when they go to school and stuff like that, they learn business ethics. You know what I mean? That's why they're so successful. We don't have that here.
Well, you guys bring factory ethics.
Business. So they grew up knowing how to make money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like we did. College here in America is a joke. You know what I mean? There's only a few subjects I agree with that you even go to college for. You know what I mean? Like, so business ethics. They teach that to their children at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think China's doing it right. I don't agree with a lot of things that are going on between us and China. But anyways, my thing is
even if somebody's a totalitarian government, like Nazi Germany or communist China, that's not to say that there aren't some things that they implement that aren't good. Like you said.
But that's what I'm saying. They're teaching their children at a younger age how to progress.
Yeah.
Like in China, you have to have a certain degree. You have to do these things.
Yeah, it's just because you have a bad regime doesn't mean that everything that is implemented is all bad. We were talking about it earlier.
Right.
We have implemented many things that originated with Germany.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But that's okay. Like the biggest one of the. This is why we can't. This is why the Americans and the Canadians and can't easily assimilate with the Chinese, and it's without accidentally triggering the red herring. It is going to be the religious aspect of things, because China does not believe in a God. Regardless,
you have a lot of religious and cultural
differences. They're like, that's bullshit. That one is also bullshit. They're all bullshit, right? I don't know if you guys watch Cobra Kai, and they're like going on about like how Reiki and like Reiki.
I love Cobra Kai. I love Cobra Kai.
When he explains that Reiki is bullshit, and he's like, really?
I'm a huge Karate Kid fan.
Okay. Well, oh man, my speaking of that, my daughter's going for her blue belt in about 2 weeks.
Nice. Very nice.
We're gonna have some fun. So I've been doing a lot of coaching at her gym there. We went to the tournament. We brought home, 60 medals, and of those medals, 12 of them were gold. There was a lot of silver. The reason why there were silvers was because the individuals who got gold were already from our club. So it was like one of them had to bring gold and one of them had to bring silver. It was what it was. Right. So we brought a lot.
Man. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So that was fun for us. But yeah, like just it's going to be a shit show going on out there in the whole wide world. That's why this content it attracts people. It disgusts people for the exact same reason. It's a train wreck you can't help but look at. Is that we touch on issues that people don't want to talk about, and inside those issues are side railed topic issues. Don't want to talk about those either. Right?
That's another thing. How I look at, I don't. It's weird. I'm an American. I get it. But I'm a person, and you're a person, right? I mean, we're all people. And how I look at it is that I don't look at other countries different than us. Like, we're all from this planet, and we're all trying to claim something that's ours, and it's stupid. I mean, if I know I'm living a dream, but my dream is like, what if we all just put our hands down, put our heads together, make society better? Everybody in the world has their own personal great value about them. You know what I mean? If we all put our heads together, live in harmony, and live in peace, dude, that no worrying about locking your doors, getting up, and don't worry about go fishing with somebody or build houses together. Be united as a world country. I don't know. I guess I'm living a dream, but
It's not a dream. It's a social project, or I know not project. That's the wrong word. It's a social.
Desire. It's a universal desire of equality and understanding and unity.
Well,
right.
We use the monetary system, and a long time ago, we used to use things like the bartering system, right? And that was more like a resource-based economy. But it kind of broke down because it was hard to move shit around. So we went to like the monetary. But my argument has always been: have we reconsidered the facts, and have we looked at what a resource-based economy would look like inside of today? This would be called the future in today's modern resource management and movement capabilities. We can move shit in ways we couldn't move before, right? Like, could we be a resource-based economy? And that's touching back to how like we get money out of it and and a lot of people have tried to solve the problem through a political name and things like that. But it's fine. It's a utopia. Unfortunate reality, it's a utopia. So in order for this to work, you need to find one of the best, most probable and realistic utopias, and then you're going to have to downgrade it 2 or 3 pegs and work for that as the ultimum goal. You'll have to be aiming for a system that you understand holds a flaw, but the system will be better than what we are in. And by the time we reach the flaw, we would want to hope that our children have already figured out the patch for once we arrive, right? It's a faith-based system because you have to hope that your kids are smarter than you when they get older.
Right. Well, guys, I hate to cut this short, but I have to go because not only that, my phone's about to die, and I got kids to attend to. So,
Hey, no problem. We're about an hour and a half in. Next week, Connor, on Tuesday, I would like to have you on in particular, Connor.
Me? What did I do?
Yeah, you alluded to the religious and ethnic issues in these variables, and I want to touch on that and whether or not these
religion aspects. I'm down for that. Let's go.
Yeah, these religious ideologies can coexist. Like you got the Muslim Brotherhood, you got the Zionist issue, you've got Christianity. All domineering forces that are inherently expansionists.
Are you asking, can they exist together?
Yeah, can they coexist together? And that is what I want.
Absolutely, as long as all three understand who they are.
Yeah. Well, I want to expound on that. I don't want to get into it here.
Oh,
I want to save this for Tuesday.
Fun. Like, we're going to starve the children.
Yes, I want to get into that on Tuesday. So
Tuesday, hold on.
I get off at 5.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm off on Tuesday. So and you're off at 5, Thomas?
Yes.
Okay.
So
well, we will hash that out. We will figure that out.
We will make it work. We'll find a way.
Yeah, where there's a will, there is a way.
Well, I really enjoyed talking with you guys.
Joining us today it is good to have you back, brother. I know your life is hectic and you're not going to be able to pop on every time we get on, but you know what? It is great to have you on when we can have you on. And he's gone. We wish him well. Hope to have him back soon. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. And if you're watching this and you like what you saw, by all means, share the live feed. Hit that notification button, the subscription button, all that fun shit. Follow us on RealTWRN, YouTube, Twitter, now X, Rumble. Be sure to check out our online store for all sorts of great merch. And as always, I am your host, the Tin Man, joined by Revan, Connor. Thank you all. If you are watching this, you are and will always be the voice, the arms, the legs, the everything that moves this forward. You are the resistance. Not me, not this broadcast, it is you. So, I'm going to go ahead and put the turkey in the oven. I know we're 3 days late for Thanksgiving, but hell, let's put the turkey in the oven and call it a day. So, if you're watching this, it's Tin Man with Resistance. If you enjoyed this broadcast, you are the resistance.